Hey guys, it's Fantayzia and welcome to a tutorial video. So this is a tutorial for Gimp and I have done one of these before, but I decided to do another one because if you guys know about that tutorial, that was a long time ago and I have done things really differently now compared to before. So that tutorial, it's a good tutorial. I feel like I explain things really slowly and like easy to follow, but it was very basic too because, you know, I used to make thumbnails a lot more basic because I wasn't, you know, I don't know, a pro with Gimp. I'm not saying I'm a pro now, but I've been using it for a lot longer, so I like learned a lot more things, so I thought it would be a pretty good time to do another tutorial for Gimp. And also another reason I wanted to do this is because I've actually started using Photoshop recently and I'm still learning, but I wanted to do a tutorial for Gimp before I just completely stop using it. I'm still going to be using Gimp sometimes, but you know, just in case I completely transition to Photoshop, I just wanted to show you guys how I make my thumbnails now with Gimp, and then in the future when I, you know, learn all the tricks with Photoshop and get more familiar with it, then maybe I can do a video on how I make my thumbnails with Photoshop. So yeah. Also, I just feel like Gimp is a really good program to do videos on because it is free, so anyone can download it who, you know, is just starting out on YouTube or something like that, and you don't have to worry about paying anything. So yeah, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get into this, and I have a bunch of things laid out right here on my desktop because I kind of want to like show you guys different things I do with all of these. So normally this isn't here. This is just for the tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is how I make my own backgrounds. Like, of course you can get ones from Google, like the ones that are actually right here. But I've been doing my own lately with like a gradient effect. You guys might have noticed. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So after you open Gimp, I'll also have a link to download Gimp in the description. But yeah, after you open Gimp, you go to File, and then you would click New, and then it's going to start off with a default size of 640 by 400. So you are going to have to change that. If you're making a thumbnail for YouTube, then the dimensions for that are 1280 by 720. So you'll have to do that. And then you just click OK. And then it's going to open a white background. I'll actually make this full screen for you guys. And yeah, so this is the correct size now. If this is too big for you, you can just like, right here, there's a little zoom in tool and you can kind of zoom out. You can just double click and zoom in or zoom out. So you can do that. I'm going to actually zoom it in for this tutorial so you guys can see what I'm doing. But usually I will make my thumbnails with a little bit of like a smaller picture, you know, like I'll zoom out like either like this or like this, just because, you know, when you're looking at a thumbnail on YouTube, it's a lot further away. It's actually like this small. So, you know, you kind of want to keep that in mind. But for this tutorial, we'll do it big so you guys can see everything. And now it's all over the place. Okay. So let's just get rid of that and then just go back to your move tool if you want to like deselect that. That's what I do anyways. So from here, I just have a blank white background, and if I want to do a gradient that I usually do, I will click on this blend tool, and you can either click on this after you pick your colors or before. I just do it before. So yeah, you click on the blend tool, and then I go over here. This is the foreground and background colors, and you can double click on that, and you can change the foreground color, and then afterwards change the background color. So I have a bunch of colors here that I've recently selected, but you can pretty much just pick any color you want. You can, yeah, just move this anywhere and move this around, and then you would just click OK when you have a color you want. But because I have all these colors here, I think I'm going to do a blue one and a pink one. So I'm going to click on the blue first and then click OK. And then now this changes to blue. And then I'm going to click on the background color and click on pink. And there we go. So yeah, now you can go ahead and make your gradient, and if your blend tool is not selected anymore for some reason, just go ahead and click that again. This is what is going to make your gradient. So yeah, you basically just click anywhere on your screen and just drag, or not on your screen, but on the picture. So you could click here and drag all the way up, and it would make this kind of effect, which is really pretty, or you can do the opposite way, or you can drag from the top to the bottom. which that's really pretty too, or do it the other way. Or if you don't want as of a gradient, then you can kind of start from the middle and just like go up like this. And then you'll have like a lot more blue before it starts transitioning. So yeah, that is how I do my gradients. Yeah. So I've been having a lot of fun with that lately. And I think for this one, what do we want to do? I think we'll do it like this. I think that's pretty. So that is how I do my gradient backgrounds. Now, I'm going to show you guys what to do if you guys just want a image from Google, if you want like, I don't know, a heart background, a beach background, even like a Sims world background. If you would like, I don't know, Willow Creek in the background, you guys can just go onto Google and type like Willow Creek pictures, well, Sims 4 Willow Creek pictures, and go to images and a bunch will come up. So I have, as you guys saw, I have some right here that are just some that I've used in the past. So basically, if you want to open an image instead of just making your own background, you would go to File and you would go to Open instead of New. And mine is on my desktop, so I would go to Desktop and then, where is it? Let's find it. So yeah, you can just kind of click and it'll show you a little image right here. So here's one of them. We could actually do that one. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So then you would just click Open. And, oh, that's actually really small. Don't know if that's a good example, but I can actually show you guys something. If you guys get a small picture like this from Google, this is definitely not the size you need for YouTube. So you would go to Image and Scale. And let me show you guys what happens if you're trying to scale something that is very tiny. So you would have to scale it, whoa, what am I doing? You would have to scale it to 1280 by 720 and then click Scale. And it's going to look very blurry, which can be good or bad. If you want the background to look blurry and have your sim really stand out or whatever is in front of your background, the main focus, then this could be good. But if you want it to be more clear, then this probably isn't the right thing to go with. So then if you don't like that, you can just click the X and just click Discard Changes. And let's, open one that might look a little bit better. So let's see. We have some hearts here. You could open up that and then it'll open in a separate window and this looks a lot better. And then again, you would go to Scale and just scale it. Oh, also, you might want to separate these right here so that you can scale it exactly how you want to. Otherwise, it might mess up when you're scaling it. So like unhook this so the numbers are separate. And then click Scale, and there you go. It's 1280 by 720. And we'll do one more example. So open. Here's one for like a really pretty, outside, summery, scenery kind of picture. And you would click Open, and here it is. This one's a good one. It's a lot bigger. And then you go to Image again. And again, 1280 by 720, and make sure this is not hooked together. And there you go. So that is 3 examples of just different backgrounds, and make sure the background is pretty big to start off with, otherwise when you size it, it's gonna be really blurry. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to go back to the image that I first started with. This is just personally my favorite way to do thumbnails right now. So after I get this done, or whether I'm using these, it's the same process. So then I'll go ahead and usually add my sim in right away, or whatever I'm adding into the picture. So for that, you can just again go to Open, and you can go to where your stuff is, and then we need to find it again. Where's a picture of a sim to show you guys? Okay, here we go. Then you would go to Open, and it's going to open down here. And then, so, you might not know how to get rid of this background. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And this is probably the easiest way with Gimp to get rid of the background. Very, very simple. So this picture is just taken in Create a Sim, and I just used the letter C on the keyboard to take this picture. I am finding that the best way because when you take a picture with the actual game capture, it doesn't include like their name up here and their traits. So you basically just get blank background. And yeah, so what I would do from here is I would go over here to the layers and I would right click and then go down to add alpha channel, and then I would click on that, and then I would come over here to the fuzzy select tool and click on that, and then basically just click down on the picture, and you're going to see that it's going to basically highlight your sim, and that is because this is a blank background and this is not, so it's basically telling you what it's going to delete. And then on your keyboard you would just click delete, and then there you go. Very easy. Then you just click select none, and now she's perfectly cut out. It's like perfect. So yeah, it's a lot like the magic eraser tool with Photoshop. It's just called the fuzzy select tool instead. So then when you're done with that, I kind of make this smaller, and then I take this layer, which is her, and I drag it over to whatever background I want to use, whether that's the gradient or these other ones here. They will all work, and then you have your sim on here all perfect. And so yeah, that's awesome. There's like no like struggle of erasing or anything like that, so the fuzzy select tool is very, very helpful. So here she is, just, you know, here. And so that is how you cut out a sim. Now, for this specific picture, I wanted to make sure I show you guys how to cut out a sim, but for this specific picture, I'm actually going to be using my icon only because she is actually a sim for my Sims 4 Season 3 Let's Play, so I kind of just didn't want to use her for the thumbnail for this video, and I'm going to be making the thumbnail for this video in this video. So yeah, if you ever want to delete one of the Sims out of your picture, just go ahead over here to layers. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, every single layer you put onto the picture, it's going to make a new layer over here so that all your layers are separate. So if we didn't want the sim, we would just right click and then just basically hit delete, and there we go. Or down here, there's a little delete. So you can do it that way. I always just right click. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the picture that I do want. So we're going to go to open again, and we're going to find it again. Okay, I'm going to use this, which is my icon, which the Gaming Mermaid did draw this for me. So yeah, I love it. And so here this is, and this is a lot smaller than the sim. So it would be the same exact process. You would right click and then, oh, it actually already has add alpha channel. So basically with the picture of the sim, I would have to right click and click add alpha channel so that there's a transparent background behind this. But for this picture, there's already an alpha channel behind it. So that means when we click on the fuzzy select tool and click down, it's going to already just be transparent in the background. So yeah. And this one is not deleting, you know, all at once. It just depends. I think it's because it's a gradient. So you would just click, click, click until everything is gone. So there we go. Now everything is gone, and then you would do select none, and go back to your move tool, and then make this box smaller. And then again, just click on the layer and drag it over to your main background. So there we go. So now we have this here. And I've actually never made a thumbnail with, you know, my icon in a picture, so this is kind of fun. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you guys what to do if you want to resize your sim or resize anything in your picture. So basically you would come over here, and right here, this little box right here with another box, it says scale, and this is the scale tool. And basically you can click on it and then click on whatever you want to scale down or scale up, and just like drag. So you have to be careful with this because, you know, you can like drag it where, and then all of a sudden you're like this and it's all stretched out. I've gotten pretty good with making sure I scale it down and have it all correct. But if you're new to doing this, you could actually, let me just click cancel and click on her, and it'll open the scale. And then you can actually put this together. These little things right here, you can attach them. So then when you size it down, it's just automatically perfect. Like you don't have to worry about anything weird happening. It's just going to size down all in the same dimensions. So yeah, then you go ahead and click scale, and there you go. So that is how you do that. I'm going to leave her this size. I think that's a good size. Okay. So now the next thing I will usually do is that I kind of do things in a weird order. Usually I'll put a border around my thumbnails now, and you can do this in any order you would like. This is just how I do it. So there's multiple different ways you can make a border. So the one that I do a lot, which is kind of annoying but really easy at the same time, so this is why I do it this way, but basically I will go up here and I will click on filters, and then I will scroll down to decor, and then there's a whole bunch of different options, but I always click add border, and then it will open up this box down here, and then you just click on that, and basically you can make this any size you want. If I'm doing a border around the whole picture, I will usually use the size 18 for both of them, and then, you know, you would click on border color, and then you can click any color you want. The same with the gradient background, just make it any color you would like. And what should we do? Let's just do a pink one. So, well, we can do like a purpley pink, kind of like her shirt. Yeah, okay. We'll do it like that, and then basically you just click OK, and then it is going to make a border around your picture. Now, when you do this, now suddenly your image is not 1280 by 720. So you're gonna have to go back to background, and you're gonna have to go to image, and then scale image, and then now it's this size. So then you're gonna separate these two things and then put it back to 1280 by 720. Okay. And then it'll go back to the correct sizing. So that's how you do that. That's how I do my borders when I do it around. And then we're gonna go ahead and delete that border. And now if you see this, just basically, you're gonna have to drag this back out, or you can just click undo. But if you just wanna delete the border, you didn't like how the border turned out, you're gonna get this transparency around. So then you're gonna have to go to the scale tool and make sure the background is selected, and then you can just drag it out to however you need it. So there you go. That is how you do that. And then I'm going to show you guys how I do my little borders that are like more in the picture, and they're like white and faded. A lot of people do that now, and yeah, so a lot of you guys might be wondering how you do that. So basically, there's a lot of different ways you can do this, but the way that I always do it, or I usually do it, I've done it other ways a couple times, but I'll go to filters again, and then I'll go to decor again, and I'll click on border, same as we do the other border, and then I'll make this white, and I'll scale this down a lot because I feel like 18 is way too wide, so I'll scale it down to like 11 or 10. Let's do 10. Same with this one, and then click OK, and it's basically going to go around the picture again, but you need to drag it inward. So what you would do is just click on your scale tool, and then make sure the border layer is selected over here, and then go ahead and drag that in. It doesn't really matter how you're dragging it in, just, you know, do that. And then you're going to notice that you have some transparency again with the background. So you're just going to click on the background layer, and then you're going to, you know, fill in those spaces just like that. And there you go. And then here is your border layer, and now you can go ahead and scale that to however you want it. Just, you know, click on it and drag however you need it. Okay. That is not how I want it. We need to, I'm going to separate these just so I can completely have control of exactly how I want it. Okay, is that good? No. I take a while, like I'm really picky with where this border is. So I take a while to line it all up how I want it. I think that is good enough. I'm not going to sit here and make it perfect. Okay, so then we have that, and you can either leave it like that, or what I like to do is fade it down. So over here, you'll see this is all the way up to 100, and you can pretty much, like, this is super duper easy with anything you want. Like if you're on the background, if you're on your sim or your icon for this example, or your border, you can pretty much go up to here and press the down arrow or the up arrow, and it's just gonna make it more opaque or less. So I'm gonna click the down arrow, and basically it's going to fade that. So I think that gives a really nice effect. You can also do it with her. I actually do this sometimes. Let me show you guys an example. So you guys might notice that sometimes in my thumbnails, I have a sim. Let's pretend this is a sim. And I have a duplicate of the sim behind them, either doing a different pose or sometimes it'll be the exact same pose. And basically what I do to do that is I go over to the Sims layer and I right click and then I click duplicate layer. And then we have two. And then I'll go ahead and move her down, which you can just do by lowering this layer. There's up and down arrows right here. And I click the down arrow, and then it'll move her behind. And then what I do is I go to this little bar that I showed you guys and I press the down arrow and just scale down and it basically fades her out. And then one thing I don't like about this is that basically because the background is blue and pink, you know, she kind of has this blue and pink look to her. So then what I'll do is go ahead and duplicate again and then move her down below like I just did with the other one. And then I'll click on the very bottom layer, the one that is underneath her, and you can see she's more opaque again. So then I will go up to colors and I will go to colorize, and then this little box will come up, and then basically you can change her color to anything you want. But I don't want to do that for this. So if you're doing something else and you wanted to change the color, this is how you would do it. But because I want her to just look more faded out, like a little shadow, I just basically go to lightness and drag that all the way up. And what that does, and then I click OK. And what that does is completely make the bottom layer of her completely white. So if I move that up, as you guys can see, it's just totally white. So I keep that behind her just so she doesn't have like a little, you know, pink and blue tone to her because of the background. And then sometimes I go ahead and fade her out a little bit more, and that's how I do that, which I think it gives her kind of a really cool effect, I think. So yeah, I think I'll actually leave that. And yeah, so that's how I do that. And then, you know, always if you want to move the sim, you can go ahead and just click the move tool and just move her over, and then make sure you move the other layer with it until it's fully behind. So that is how you would do that. Alright, so the next thing I'll usually do after this is usually I'll do font. Sometimes I'll go ahead and do the borders around the sim. I'm just going to keep calling this a sim, even though it's my icon. Sometimes I'll do the border around them, or I'll just go straight to font. So I think we're going to go to font, but I actually just want to show you guys something really quickly. If this sim, because usually when you take a picture in game, your sim is not saturated enough or not bright enough. Sometimes they look a little bit dark and you want to brighten that up. So obviously this icon is pretty bright because, you know, it's an icon, so it was made to be bright. But when you take a screenshot in game, sometimes, I'll show you an example. Sometimes maybe your sim looks dark like this, you know, and it doesn't look very vibrant and just kind of dull. So basically, let me actually just do that again for you guys, and then I'll show you guys how to fix that if your sim is looking like that. Okay, so let's just say your sim looks like this. Not bright enough, you know, it doesn't stand out enough. Basically, you would go up here to colors, and you can go to brightness and contrast, and then you can go ahead and raise it up. You can raise the brightness up, you can raise the contrast up, and basically it's just going to add a lot more color, a lot more just like vibrancy, and yeah, it just looks a lot better. So you can raise that up really high and it'll actually start to look pretty crazy, so don't do that. But yeah, that is how you do that. So there we go. And another thing you can do if you want to do even more to your sim, you can go to colors and you can go to curves, and it'll open up this box right here, and basically you can just play with this. You can drag it, and up here, if you're dragging it at the top, it's going to make it brighter, as you guys can see, which that's my favorite. So let's go ahead and actually make that brighter. And then if you're wanting some more darkness or some more like saturation in dark colors, you can go ahead and go to the bottom and drag that down. And basically that is just going to deepen up the picture, which sometimes for Sims pictures that really does work out, because then sometimes when you drag this up, it makes it way too bright. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. Sometimes it makes it way too bright, and then, you know, you need to darken it up a little bit in some places. So yeah, and then also if you just use the middle, it's just going to make it very bright. So I never really touch the middle, but you can if you want to. So there we go. There's that, and then just go back to the move tool. And okay, one last thing for, you know, color correcting and all of that, you can also go to levels, click on that, and then there's going to be, you know, this bar right here. It's a whole bunch of different arrows. I actually never touch the top arrow, but you basically can just click on it and just move it. And it's just going to, you know, change the brightness of the sim and all of that. So usually I go to the second arrow and I go ahead and move that up a little bit. And then I go over here to the last arrow and I go ahead and move that a little bit. And it kind of just adds, I don't know, it just looks really pretty. You guys can see. I just think it makes your sim look a lot better. And even in this case, it can brighten up your icon if you wanted to. Which I feel like this icon was already pretty bright, so no need to do that. But with Sims, you're usually going to have to do that. So after I'm done that, I will just click OK. And now I'm done messing with the whole, you know, Sims like coloring and stuff. So after that, like I said, I will either do a border around the sim or I'll move on to font. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and add the border to her. So what I'll do for that is I'll go over here to the layer of her, which she's the top layer. The one underneath it is this one, and then the one underneath that is just the white one behind her. So I'll go up to the top one and I'll go ahead and right click, and then I'll click alpha to selection. So I'll click that, and then you're gonna get this line around her. And then I go over to create a new layer, which is down here, and I click on that, and I just leave everything the way it is, and I put this, make sure this is on transparency, and then I click OK, and then here you have your layer. You can also rename it if you want to be able to keep track of your layers easier. So yeah, you have this layer here, and then you go ahead and click the down arrow, I keep saying that, to move this layer under her, because you're going to want that under. And then make sure you have this layer selected, and then go up to select, and then go down and click on grow. And then you can go ahead and grow this by whatever you would like, but what I usually do is grow it by 4. So I'll put this up to 4, and then I'll click OK. And what that's going to do is going to move this line outwards a little bit. Now, if you want to fill this in with white or whatever color you would like to, I always fill it in with white. So what I do is go down here to the background color, make sure you're clicking on the bottom color, double click, and I just make that white. Unless you want to leave it pink, that's totally fine too, and click OK. And then I go up to edit, and I scroll down to fill with background color. Make sure you always click background color, not foreground color. So click fill with background color, and there we go. She has a nice little border around her, and it looks great. So that's what I do for that. Now, there's something else you can do from here, and I'm not really sure if I'm doing this wrong or what. I usually don't do this because it's just kind of annoying, but I do it with Photoshop because it's different with Photoshop. But basically, after I do this, if you want to drop shadow behind your sim, you can go to filters and you can click light and shadow, and you can click drop shadow. Click on that and it's going to pop up, and then you have, you know, these different numbers to, you know, raise up the drop shadow, make it, you know, bigger. I usually put this to 6, and then I drag this up quite a bit just so it's more visible. So 85, sometimes I do it more than that, sometimes a little bit less, and then I click OK, and basically it is going to add a drop shadow behind your sim. Now I'm going to deselect everything, which you just go select none. As you can see, it has pretty much destroyed the photo. I mean, this is fixable. You can drag everything back out, but it's kind of a pain. I'm not really sure why it does this. If you basically, with Gimp, this happens if you are adding a drop shadow with something that is on the bottom of the screen. So I can do drop shadow with fonts. I always do drop shadow with fonts because, you know, the font is over here and it's not like going right up against the edge of the picture. So this doesn't happen. But when you do a drop shadow with, you know, your sim, if they're right up against the bottom and the top, this always happens to me. So, you know, if you want to do a drop shadow behind your sim, you totally can. You know, all you have to do is drag everything out. Like I've showed you guys how to do, and this will be fixed. But I personally just don't want to do that, so I just don't put drop shadows behind my sims for Gimp, and I feel like it just looks totally fine. There's not too much difference, but Drop shadows with your fonts, I feel like make a very big difference. So yeah. Basically, if you don't like this, you can just click undo until that is gone. So you just do edit and then just undo. So, oh, we want to redo that. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, edit, we want to redo. So this we do want. You can totally do the drop shadow like I said. You're just going to have to pull everything out to make it correctly sized again. If there's any way around that, you guys can let me know, but I just don't really know how to. But with Photoshop, that does not happen when you add a drop shadow, so yeah. So once you have this border around them, I just go ahead and click select, none. And then I'll usually also add a border around the shadowed stem, or if it's just another stem in the picture, whatever it may be, and then it's the same process. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'll go to selection, add another layer, move that down below, unclick select, grow by 4, and then edit, and then fill with background color, and there we go, and then select none. So the Sims are now done, or the icon, like I said, I'm just going to call them Sims. Okay, so once you're done with that, then I usually go into fonts, and yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and start doing a font. So basically you click on fonts over here, and this is the text tool, and you go ahead and click on that, and you just drag out a box wherever you want to. This can be anywhere on the picture. You just click down and drag out, and then you go ahead and start typing whatever you want. So what are we gonna do? We can, in my first Gimp tutorial, I wrote how I make my thumbnails. So I think for this one, I'm just going to do a Gimp tutorial. And as you're going to see, this is not very visible. So you can go ahead and highlight it. The layer is right here, but it is in blue and the background is in blue, so that's not really working out. So you can go ahead and highlight it and then click on the little box. You can double click on that and make this whatever color you would like the font to be. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and make the font white. So then we're going to click OK. There we have the white font, and then I'm thinking you're going to want this bigger. So what you do to do that is highlight it, and then over here, this is the size of the font. You could either manually write in what size you want, but I just think it's a lot easier to just click the up arrow or the down arrow, whatever, you know, if you want the font smaller or bigger. So I go ahead and click the up arrow, and there we go. So there's Gimp. And if you want to change the font, which I definitely always do, I have a million different fonts. Basically, I click on the text tool, I double click, and it will open up your fonts, and you just click on the font little box, and you can just scroll and, you know, pick whatever font you want. I have so many different fonts, and they're all from dafont.com, dafont.com, and you can just download them from there and then click install, and they'll go into your Gimp or whatever program you use, Photoshop, anything like that. So, I'm trying to just think of one that I can quickly, you know, that I remember the name of, so we can just pick a font. You could like look through all of this, but I have a lot. So, yeah, I think we'll go ahead and use the font called Babus. A lot of people use this, and it is right here, and this is from Dafont. And there you go. So once you have that, then you can highlight it again if you would like to and size it up even more. I'm going to do that. With the font Babus, it's already all capitalized. That's just how that font is. Every letter is capital. So there we have that. And then we can just exit this off and then go back to our move tool. And then we can move this however we would like. Let's just put it up here. There we go. And this is pretty big because you have to remember, guys, that this is going to be pretty small, so I actually might even make this bigger. So if you want to make this bigger after you're already done with this, you can just go to the scale tool right here and just go ahead and pull it out. So, and then again, if you want this to all be like, you know, sizing up with the all same dimensions, just go ahead and click those two together, and then you can go ahead and size it up. So yeah, now you can see the font is behind her, and this actually happened in my first Gimp tutorial as well. So if you want to fix that, you click on Gimp and click on the arrow and just move it up so that now it's above her. And you can just play with it to move it wherever you want with the move tool. And yeah, there we go. So I like that. And then I want to add the word tutorial. So then you click on the font, the text tool again, make another box, wherever you want. And then just go ahead and type in tutorial. I'm spelling this wrong, tutorial. And okay. This is actually completely behind her because, you know, I started writing over here. So if that happens to you, just go ahead and click on the word and just bring it like all the way up. And there you go. Now it's in front of her. And again, we're just going to highlight it and then size it up. Okay, and then we're going to click on the colors and I'm going to make this white again. You can make it any color you want. And I want to make this a different font. So I'm going to go over to the fonts and what font do we want to make this one? Let's see. I might have to quickly look for one. Hopefully I can find one quickly. Let's see. I've actually been using one pretty often and that's what I'm looking for. I don't remember what it's called. It would be really helpful if you have like a document with all your different font names, but I don't have that and I should probably make one. Here it is. Okay, this is called Harlow Solid Italic. So I'm going to use that one. I really like how this looks lately. I never used to use it, but I really like it. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. So I highlighted it again and click the up arrow. This tutorial is very long, guys, so I just wanted to make things very clear to help anyone out. So if this bores you, then I'm sorry, but I know that there's some people this will really help. So there we go. So there's the word tutorial and I have it pretty big and I think that's good. So I'm going to just move this like that. And I'm actually going to move the word GIMP down a little bit. Okay. So there we have that. And alrighty. Now I want to add a little border around my fonts. So I am going to go ahead and right click on GIMP and we're going to go alpha to selection the same way we did with the icon. Alpha to selection and then make another layer and then move that down. And then go to select and then grow. And then you can grow by whatever you like. I'm going to do 4 again. You can make it bigger, whatever you want. And this one, I'm going to have a different color. So for this one, we did white, but with this one, we want like a different color because the font's already white. So then I'm going to click on the background color and we're going to make this, let's just do pink. You know, that works. We'll do like a little bit of brighter pink. And then we're going to go to edit and fill with background color. So that's what that looks like. And then I do add a drop shadow to my font. So then I would go to filter and then go to lighten shadow, go to drop shadow. And then this box will pop up again. And I'm going to do a little bit less. We're going to do 5 and I'm going to drag this down to maybe right there. There we go. So when we have a drop shadow, it stands out a lot more. And then you can just go to select none. And then you can do the same thing to tutorial. So then you go to tutorial and then alpha to selection. I'm going to do this one a little bit faster and then move the layer down and then go to grow 4 and then you can go ahead. I want to change the background color to this one too. So then I'm going to click on the background color again. I'm going to make this one blue and then I'm going to go to fill with background color and there we go. And then I'm going to go to filters again and go to lighten shadow, drop shadow. You can put this to whatever you would like, and then there we go. And then again, select none. So that is how I do my fonts. And yeah, so that was easy. I know it seems harder, but it's actually a lot easier than it might seem. And I feel like because this is a super long tutorial, it's just gonna be easier for people to follow that are like really new to GIMP and don't know how to do anything yet. So yeah. All right. So we have our icon here, or Sims, or whatever you have here. We have, you know, the little thing, GIMP tutorial. We have our font in here. So now, if you would like to add things to your picture just to make it stand out more, you know, anything like that, you can go ahead and go to open again, and then you can pick whatever you would like to add to your picture. So say we want to add, you know, a thumbnail, a plumb bob, or you can add this, which looks pretty cool. We could actually do that. I think that would look kind of cool. Yeah, let's add that. So a lot of times I had a plumb bob, but this time we'll go ahead and add this one, which you can find on Google if you just type in like Sims 4 plumb bobs and then click open. And again, it's going to open down here, and then you just go ahead and drag it over because it already has a transparent background. Now, it's on the top now, and we don't want that, so we're gonna go ahead and just drag it all the way to the bottom because we don't want it on top of anything that we did. So we're just gonna move it all the way down, and there we go. And I want to size this down to a lot smaller. So to do that, I just go to the scale tool and just scale it down. And then you can move it to wherever you would like. I'm actually going to make that a little smaller. I don't want it to be too big. There we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that like right there. I think that looks kind of pretty, but I don't want it to be green. So if you want to change the color to your plumb bob or anything really that you have in your picture, you can go ahead and go to colors, colorize, and basically you can change the color to whatever you would like. So I think I'm gonna make this, I think we can do a blue color and make the saturation and lightness. Oh, you want to do lightness, not darkness. Well, you can do darkness too. I think I'll make it like this. And then to make it stand out more, I'm going to go ahead and again, right click and alpha to selection. It's kind of the same process for everything. And then make a new layer and then click OK. Move that below again. And then again, go to grow. You can grow that by 4 or grow it by whatever you would like. And then I'm going to go ahead and change this back to white, the background color. And then go to edit and then fill with background color, and there you go. Then you can just click select none, and now it looks a lot more, it just pops out a lot more. So that's how you do that. Okay, and the next thing I want to show you guys is sometimes I put like a little banner underneath my font or something like that. So to do that, again, just go to file, open, and where do I have this? Okay, I have it in shapes. You can find these anywhere. You can find them on PicMonkey and just save them as a picture. You can find them on Google. And yeah, so which one do we want to use? I really like this one. Or no, I really like this one. This is my favorite. So you just go ahead and click open. I just realized you guys couldn't even see that. It's on the other screen. I apologize. Okay, but I just picked the picture. I don't even know if you guys can see all the pictures, every time I add a picture. Let me actually show you guys. Okay, when you click file, open, it's opening on my other screen, so you guys can't even see that. So yeah, now I just moved it over. So basically when you click open, it's going to show you, you know, all your files and all of that, and you can just pick the picture you want to open. So that was my fault because it's on my other screen. But yeah, basically when you click open, it'll just open all your stuff and you can open up any picture you want. So yeah, there's that. But now that we already have this open, basically this is already a transparent background. If it's not, you can just go ahead and right click again, alpha to channel, and then go ahead and click the fuzzy select tool and delete that. So yeah, so because this is already transparent, I'm just going to drag it over here. And again, it is like kind of weirdly placed, so we're going to go ahead and change that. Well, we don't really need to. We could just go ahead and get the move tool and move it. Oh, I'm moving the wrong thing, guys. Make sure when you're moving things that you like are directly clicking on it, otherwise it's kind of going to mess up. Okay, so I think I actually will move it up. I think I'm actually going to move it in front. I don't really mind if it's going over her a little bit since she is just the shadow. So yeah, I add a little border like this a lot of the times under my font or, you know, wherever. So that's how I do that. And to change the color of this, again, I go to color and then colorize, and you can change the color to anything once again. So I think I'll stick with that like blue kind of thing. So we'll go ahead and do like maybe like that. It's kind of similar to that one, and then click OK. And sometimes I'll go and fade this out. So you just go up to here like I showed you guys and press the down arrow, and it's just basically going to fade this. And then I like to add a little border around it. So again, alpha to selection and then make a new layer, move that down, and then go to select, grow by 4 or whatever you want to grow it by. And then go ahead and fill with background color, and then just go select none. So that's how you do that. Now I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to show you guys. I do different things with my thumbnails. You guys probably see all the time. Sometimes I do three sims like in the middle of the picture, or I'll do like for my get ready with me's, I'll take a picture of the sim in their pajamas and then take a picture of the sim when they're ready, and I'll put those both in the picture. Sometimes I will have, like, pretend this is a sim. Sometimes I'll put the sim in the middle of the screen instead of on the side, and then I'll put things like the font like around them. What's something else that I do? You guys see my thumbnails, so you guys know. And then sometimes I do like Sims 4 worlds in the background, like I told you guys, and what's something else? Oh, sometimes I'll do this. If I'm doing a house build, actually, this is not gonna be how it's gonna look for this picture, but if I'm doing a house build and I want it to look like the sun is shining down onto the house, I'll go to filters and I'll go to light and shadow and I'll go to lens flare, and basically that is going to open up this and it's going to show you what it's going to look like. So then it shows you there's going to be a lens flare at the top and it kind of like comes down. So then I'll kind of like, you know, mess with this how I want it, you know, place it wherever, and then I'll go ahead and click OK. And as you can see, there's a thing in the back. I know it's like in the back, so you guys can't really see. But when I'm doing a house build, I do very simple speed build pictures. I will just have the picture of the house and I'll have a border like this. And then in the corner, I'll go ahead and put this little lens flare. I actually think I'm going to leave that in here. It kind of adds a nice little effect there. So I'm going to go and leave that. And let's see. I think I've pretty much like covered all the basics. You know, you can go to open and add many other things to your thumbnails. You can add hearts, which is the exact same process as this banner and as these plumb bobs. You can add the plumb bob, like I said. You can add the Sims 4 logo, which is again is the same process. You would just open it and then just drag it into here. You can add sparkles. I'll do that. So we'll go ahead and open the sparkles. And then it's over here. And then you would just go and drag it onto here. And it is behind everything now. So you would find the layer, which is right here, and move it up. You don't have to move it up, but if it is behind things, you know, just so you can see it. And then there it is, and click the move tool, and you can kind of move it wherever you would like. And then I sometimes add multiple ones of these, so, you know, I'll put some down here, and then go to it, right click it, and then click duplicate. And then you can add some more over here, and then again, duplicate, add more up here. I think that's too much. We'll add another one down here. And yeah, that's basically how you do the sparkles. We'll do one more. This picture doesn't need too many. I feel like it's already pretty filled up, so we'll do one more right there. And yeah, guys, so that is basically how I make my thumbnails. Obviously, you know, my actual thumbnails might look a little bit different than this because, you know, I do different things every time. I like to experiment. I like to try to make my thumbnails look really different sometimes. But this is like the main things I do. So I add borders around the Sims, you know, for my build. For my build videos, I do a lens flare. I'll add banners under here like this. Here's some of the fonts I sometimes use. I also use like a bunch of other fonts, but you can find fonts you like, or you can find popular fonts. On DeFont, there's like a popular section if you want to find ones that a lot of people use. And yeah, I always do the gradient background lately, but I used to do these type of backgrounds a lot. That actually reminds me, I'm going to show you guys one more thing. If you have a background like this and you have your sim, let's actually put her on here. You have your sim and basically you want her to be the main point of the picture. You want her to stand out more, but then the background is so detailed. If you don't want that, basically you can click on the background. You can go to filters, you can go to blur, and then you can click on Gaussian blur. Click on that and then it's going to open this box and you can kind of preview it if you would like to. And see how it's more blurry. You can move this up or down. Let's put it on 6 and then click OK. And basically it's going to blur out that background for you. You can do it again as many times as you want to get it like exactly how you want it. You can do this one to 5 and there you go. It's going to blur it some more and then she'll be the main point and she'll be like standing out, especially when you go ahead and, you know, go to colors and you click brightness and you like add some brightness to her. Oh, I'm adding brightness to the background. When you click on her, make sure you're clicking on the layer of your sim and then click on brightness and you're adding some brightness to her, and you know, you're going, oh, when you go to colors and curves and go ahead, you know, pull that up, then, you know, she's standing out like a lot now. So, and then you would add your border alpha to selection, or no, alpha to selection, duh. Okay, I'm like trying to correct myself and I said the right thing. Move that below and then, you know, select, grow, and yeah, then she's just standing out a lot more. So I just think that looks a lot better if you do it that way. So that's just another little tip if you have a really detailed background, you want it to be more blurred out so that, you know, your Sims and stuff like that stand out. So that is how you do that. But yeah, guys, I'm pretty sure I covered anything. If there's anything I didn't mention in the video that I forgot to mention, you guys can comment down below and let me know and I can try to help you out. So yeah, I just want to tell you guys, you know, if some of my thumbnails look different than this, it's because I do every thumbnail differently, but I just wanted to show you guys how I go about making them and, you know, what I do to make the saturation in my Sims look better, you know, how I add a drop shadow, how I add, you know, outline around fonts, you know, what kind of banners I use and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm just throwing this super quick clip randomly in here. This might be a really weird jump, but I forgot to tell you guys something right before I end the video, and then it's gonna go back to the original video, and yeah. So I quickly wanted to tell you guys, I forgot to show you if you want to sharpen the image, if you want the image to look, you know, just more sharp and just better. So I do this a lot with Sims. So for example, go ahead and click on the icon, and I'm going to show you this with the Sim as well, but you can go ahead and go to filters, you can go to enhance, and then you can go to sharpen, and basically it's going to open up this box, and it's really close up. Basically you could just raise the sharpness up, and it's just going to, yeah, you guys can see the difference. You see, it just makes it look a lot sharper. You can do this if you would like to. It's not necessary, but sometimes it can make things look a lot better. So there you go. That's a little bit more sharper. And then I'll go ahead and show you guys an example with a Sim. So here's the Sim over here. And then let me actually zoom in for you guys so you guys can see. Well, that's a little too close. Okay. You would do the exact same thing. Make sure you have the Sim selected, and then go to filters, and then go to enhance, sharpen, and then again, you can, this is how she originally looked with no sharpness, and then you can go ahead and raise that up, and you can definitely see the difference. I think it makes more of a really nice difference on a Sim, as you can see right there. Whoa. As you can see right there, as I zoom out like crazy. So yeah, I think that adds a really nice little touch and, you know, makes your Sims look more detailed and just stand out even more. So yeah, back to the video now. Hopefully this helped you guys out, and I know this is 15 minutes long, so I hope you guys enjoyed a super long tutorial. But yeah, I really wanted to make a really detailed one. The last one I did was not this long, and it was a lot more basic, so I wanted to do a super long one. And in the future, if you guys want to use Photoshop or something, you want to learn how to use that, I might be doing a tutorial on Photoshop in the future once I get the hang of it more. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and like I said, if you have any further questions, you guys can comment down below and ask me. And yeah, I hope you're all having an amazing day, and I love you guys all so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.